Have you ever stopped to think about how a single act of kindness could change your life, or even the world around you? In the midst of our hectic routines and constant distractions, it's easy to forget how profound compassion can truly be. What if I told you that kindness isn't just a nice thing to do, it's a force of change, capable of reshaping our hearts, our relationships, and even our communities? Let's dive into how the timeless wisdom of the Buddha reveals the power behind every small, compassionate gesture. And what if the key to real transformation isn't found in grand gestures, but in the simple acts we overlook every day? Let's explore how kindness, rooted in ancient wisdom, can not only transform the world, but also our own inner selves. In the fast-paced world we live in today, have you ever paused to think about the impact of a single act of kindness? We're all caught in a whirlwind of busy schedules, constant notifications, and endless to-do lists. But despite the noise and distractions of modern life, there's something incredibly powerful in the timeless teachings of figures like Buddha. These lessons remind us that compassion and genuine care for others are not just niceties, they are transformative forces of change. Imagine this: you offer a simple smile to a stranger, or share a few kind words with someone who is struggling. These small, seemingly insignificant actions plant seeds of connection, hope, and understanding. Over time, these seeds grow, touching lives in ways we might never see or fully understand. In today's world, flooded with social media updates and constant distractions, it's easy to forget the power of these fleeting human exchanges. Yet, it's in these simple moments that true transformation begins. Buddha's teachings emphasized the importance of mindfulness, encouraging us to remain present enough to recognize those brief, fleeting opportunities for kindness each day. By doing so, we not only awaken our own empathy, but also unlock our capacity for growth. A simple pause, asking ourselves whether our actions come from a place of genuine warmth rather than ego, can be the difference between a fleeting moment of niceness and a lasting act of meaningful kindness. As we begin to tune into the frequency of compassionate intent, we elevate the ordinary moments in our lives into extraordinary experiences that nurture both the giver and the receiver. Think of it as a ripple effect. A small act of kindness might begin as a quiet exchange between two people, but its influence can ripple outwards, touching entire communities. Imagine tossing a stone into a calm pond. At first, the splash seems small, almost unnoticeable, but then the ripples spread outward, growing wider and wider. Buddha understood the expansive nature of kindness. He believed that every act of compassion, no matter how small, creates waves that gently intersect with one another, multiplying and spreading further than we might ever realize. No gesture, no matter how trivial it may seem, is too insignificant to matter. Even something as simple as listening attentively or sending a thoughtful message can have a profound effect. These small actions can shift someone's perspective, prompting them to pass on that warmth to others. Before long, kindness spreads, weaving a supportive network across neighborhoods, workplaces, and even the vast online spaces where we interact. In a digital age where trends are fleeting and negativity often goes viral, a small, positive gesture or a kind thought can pierce through the noise, cutting through the cynicism by recognizing that every act of kindness carries the potential to multiply. We affirm our collective responsibility to sustain these waves. Kindness is never a private affair. It flourishes in public, creating invisible yet powerful bonds among us all. But kindness isn't just about others, it's about us too. Buddha taught that the practice of kindness could transform the self. If we spend our lives practicing impatience, we cultivate restlessness. If we focus on greed, we feed our dissatisfaction. But by embracing kindness, we open ourselves to an inner transformation that leads to true liberation. Kindness quiets the constant demands of our ego and softens the harsh inner dialogue that so often erodes our well-being. As we practice kindness, we cultivate a sense of self that is both more confident and more at peace. When we step outside our own bubble and empathize with another person's journey, we experience something unexpected: personal clarity. Our desire to be right, to dominate, or to assert ourselves melts away in the face of genuine human connection. We begin to see the bigger picture, where daily irritations lose their sting and our priorities shift toward unity and collective growth. Kindness also boosts our emotional resilience. Life's challenges and disappointments become less overwhelming because our focus shifts beyond ourselves. As we extend kindness to the world, that kindness comes back to us in ways that reinforce the cycle of mutual uplift. Buddha's teachings provide us with a bridge, connecting ancient wisdom with the pressures of modern life. Though the pace of life in Buddha's time may have been slower, the emotional struggles of human beings were as real then as they are now. Monastic communities weren't just places of isolation. They were spaces where individuals could deepen their understanding of the human condition. From this perspective, Buddha's teachings offer timeless insights that are just as relevant today. Consider how mindfulness, sitting quietly with one's breath, resonates in our modern age of constant digital distractions. Similarly, the monastic focus on compassion offers a powerful counterbalance to a culture obsessed with efficiency. Kindness, then, becomes a form of rebellion against the relentless drive to produce and consume. Even in our busiest moments, there's always room for kindness. A simple check-in with a friend, a few minutes of encouragement, or volunteering time to help someone can counteract the fragmentation and stress we often feel. These teachings remind us that kindness isn't just a fleeting sentiment, it's a discipline, a practice that can be woven seamlessly into our high-speed lives. As we navigate our daily routines, we are invited to ask ourselves one question: do our actions uplift those around us, or do they divide? It's in that simple inquiry that we discover the true power of compassion. In the next part, we'll explore how turning compassion inward, learning to be kind to ourselves, can be the most challenging yet transformative step of all. Intro. In the previous part, we explored how kindness towards others can ripple through communities. But what about kindness towards ourselves? Buddha's teachings remind us that true compassion starts from within. Yet, Buddha's teachings suggest that compassion is incomplete if it doesn't also include self-compassion. We often find ourselves in a cycle of self-criticism and doubt. But by engaging in gentle self-reflection, we learn to treat our inner struggles as stepping stones rather than obstacles. This shift in perspective transforms failure from a fixed label into an opportunity for growth. In today's world, where social media feeds are flooded with highlight reels, it's easy to get trapped in comparison, feeling like we never measure up. But kindness to ourselves breaks that pattern. Instead of holding ourselves to impossible standards, self-kindness reminds us that each person's path is unique and growth is rarely linear. Extending the same empathy we offer to others, to our own imperfections, fosters emotional balance, rather than spiraling into feelings of shame or stress. We learn to respond to ourselves with patience and understanding. As we practice inward kindness, we begin to develop a grounded sense of self that radiates outward. Our confidence grows, and the steadiness we cultivate within ourselves becomes a stable platform from which to engage with the world. Buddha's wisdom teaches us that caring for oneself isn't selfish. It's essential for building authentic connections. But despite our best intentions, barriers to kindness do arise. Life often gets in the way: busy schedules, cynicism, fear, or even simple forgetfulness. Buddha was aware of these mental obstacles that dilute our capacity for compassion. Think about a stressful day, overwhelmed by a workload or bombarded with negative news. Each of these moments can be an invitation to retreat into indifference. Yet, the true power of kindness emerges when we practice it in the face of difficulty. When stress spikes or skepticism creeps in, we have the power to pause and reclaim the choice to respond with empathy instead of defensiveness. This pause is not about denying tough realities. It's about acknowledging them without letting them overshadow our natural inclination to care. With mindfulness, we begin to see every hurdle as an opportunity to deepen our kindness. Whether it's a harsh comment or a tense negotiation, empathy shines brightest when we recognize that others, too, carry their own burdens. Embracing this awareness can diffuse hostility, transforming what could have been a standoff into a heartfelt exchange. Compassion, then, isn't about passive surrender. It's about a deliberate choice to maintain our humanity, especially in moments that tempt us to abandon it. Forgiveness is one of the highest forms of kindness, requiring courage, empathy, and humility. Buddha's teachings often highlight how holding onto grudges ties us to suffering. When we cling to resentment, we stay trapped in a cycle of hurt. But by choosing forgiveness, we free ourselves to move forward, shedding the weight of past wrongs. This doesn't mean we trivialize the harm done, but instead, we recognize that compassion, for both ourselves and the person who wronged us, can lead us toward healing. In today's fast-paced world, the notion of forgive and forget can seem naive, but there's quiet wisdom in releasing the bitterness that builds when we hold on to anger. Forgiveness asks us to relinquish the desire for retribution and instead cultivate compassion. even when we set necessary boundaries to protect ourselves. Letting go opens us up to a deeper reservoir of kindness that fosters profound healing. Though forgiveness may challenge our pride, it ultimately becomes a statement of emotional freedom. By forgiving, we affirm that our hearts are not confined by past wounds, but are open to the possibility of reconciliation and growth. When communities unite in kindness, we witness transformations that extend far beyond the individual. Picture workplaces where empathy is prioritized, families that nurture emotional warmth, or online forums that model respectful dialogue. These changes begin with small acts: a leader championing inclusive policies, a neighbor organizing a community garden, or a friend simply calling to check in. Buddha's wisdom teaches us that when compassion isn't just a sporadic act, but a sustained mindset, it changes the culture around us. Each person who chooses to prioritize kindness, whether by volunteering or offering a few encouraging words, contributes to a collective shift. The more of us who join in, the more profound the effect becomes. As cynicism fades and trust grows, communities become safer and more supportive environments where everyone can thrive. Every day, we face a choice: to perpetuate division or to spark a small flame of goodwill. Over time, those small flames converge, creating a powerful path forward where kindness stands as an undeniable force for good. In that light, we see that ancient teachings on compassion are not relics of the past, but living philosophies that renew our modern world. Kindness truly is a force that transcends time. It bridges ancient wisdom and modern struggles, creating an unbroken thread of hope. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to Monk Mindset, my YouTube channel dedicated to exploring these timeless teachings in everyday life. Through openness and shared stories, we can nourish each other's kindness and build a collective spirit that lights the way forward. So, how will you carry forward the power of kindness today? Join the conversation, and let's keep this movement alive.